Let's just jump right into it. I want to start by completely challenging how you view that heavy, exhausting feeling you get at the end of the workday. You absolutely know the one I'm talking about. It's 5 p.m., and honestly, even deciding what to eat for dinner feels like trying to climb Mount Everest. Well, in today's explainer, if you're constantly feeling drained like that, I'm here to tell you that we're looking at strict biological realities. It's not just a bad day at the office, and it's definitely not a personal failing. Today, we're diving straight into the actual neuroscience of how you make choices and why your brain gets so incredibly exhausted doing it.
Seriously, is your mental battery just dead today? We've all been there. You're staring blankly at a screen, the cursor is blinking, and you literally can't make even the simplest choice to move a project forward. I really want to validate that exhaustion for you right now because decision fatigue isn't a failure of willpower. It's not just some vague feeling of being mentally tired. No, it's actual, physical, biological wear and tear on your brain. When you feel that friction, your biological battery is genuinely running on empty.
So, here's our roadmap for the paradigm shift we're exploring today. We'll start with the biology of mental fatigue, move into the hidden cost of decisions, look at a concept called Think25, the neurological filter, and finally define the new cognitive luxury. Okay, let's dive into section 1, the biology of mental fatigue. We are going to focus right on the physical engine inside your head that powers every single choice you make, from the second you wake up to the minute you fall asleep. You see, it all comes down to the prefrontal cortex. Neuroscience shows us that our capacity to make good, sound decisions lives entirely in this one specific region, right behind your forehead. It's the boss. It handles your executive functions, complex problem solving, and impulse control. But there's a huge catch. It is incredibly high maintenance. Think of your prefrontal cortex like a smartphone running a massive, battery-draining app. You've got the GPS on, the screen is at full brightness, and 10 apps are refreshing in the background. To pull off its job, this part of the brain burns massive amounts of glucose and energy. It literally runs on metabolic fuel, and that fuel is strictly limited. Now, this perfectly illustrates the core problem we all face at work. On one hand, you've got a critical business decision, right? Like setting your company's annual strategy or approving a massive budget. But on the other hand, you've got something incredibly trivial, like picking the exact right tone for a WhatsApp message. You know what I mean? Do I use an exclamation point here? Is a period way too aggressive? Should I just use the thumbs up emoji? Well, energetically, your prefrontal cortex does not distinguish between the two. Crazy, right? It consumes the exact same type of precious cognitive fuel to process that emoji as it does to map out your entire quarterly strategy. Which brings us to section 2, the hidden cost of decisions. What actually happens to our performance and our careers when we just ignore this drain and let our cognitive battery totally die? When that battery runs out, you enter severe cognitive fatigue. Your brain is basically starving for resources, so it hits the panic button and forces these 3 pretty dangerous neurological shortcuts just to survive. Number 1, impulsivity. You just start making snap decisions with zero risk analysis. You're saying yes simply to get things off your desk. Number 2, risk aversion, or total paralysis. You experience a complete inability to act. You put off that big proposal, leading to intense procrastination. And number 3, lowest effort patterns. Your brain just defaults to maintaining an inefficient status quo. Ever wonder why organizations fall back on, well, we've always done it this way? It's simply because the brain is totally out of fuel and desperately trying to find the path of least resistance. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that the real cost of a decision is the metabolic energy required to produce it. The true price tag of a choice isn't just its financial impact or what it does to your schedule. It's the literal biological energy your brain just spent. And once you spend that metabolic currency, it is gone until you rest. Let's shift gears to section 3, Think25, the neurological filter. We're going to completely reframe this tool, not just as some neat productivity hack, but as a mandatory strategy to actually preserve your brain power. We really need to look at how we normally use technology versus how we should be using it to protect ourselves. Think about traditional AI generators. They often completely overwhelm us. Imagine firing up an AI tool to help solve a problem, and it spits out 50 slightly different variations of a strategy. Great, right? Except now, your brain has to evaluate 50 new things. This creates massive metabolic noise, and paradoxically, it drains your prefrontal cortex even faster. Contrast that overwhelming anxiety with Think25. It acts as a strict neurological filter. Instead of throwing more choices at you, it actively reduces your options. It tightens the focus, completely eliminating that metabolic noise, so your brain simply doesn't even have to process it.
And that ties right into a fascinating concept called satisficing. It's a term originally coined by the brilliant thinker Herbert Simon. Satisficing basically means processing massive volumes of information to immediately deliver what is good enough. It is absolutely not about settling for mediocrity. It is all about efficiency. Think25 takes this exact academic concept and applies it to instantly spare your brain's processing power. It does all the heavy lifting to find that highly competent baseline immediately. It's literally a lifesaver for your working memory.
So how exactly does supporting your operational judgment in this way protect your brain? Well, by systematizing the repetitive stuff, you're quite literally building a protective wall around your prefrontal cortex. You're transferring those complex, repetitive choices out of your biological hardware into a system. And by doing this, you reserve your highly sensitive brain power for the moments where your human intuition and leadership are just irreplaceable. You get to reallocate all that saved energy straight into strategic execution, innovation, and complex problem solving. It's a total game changer. It turns your daily fatigue into a massive, unfair competitive advantage. Ultimately, Think25 converts attention collapse into a direct gain of mental clarity and efficiency. The immediate payoff of cutting out the overload of trivial choices from your daily plate is that you actually get your mind back. You reclaim that crisp, sharp clarity you need to perform at your absolute peak right when it truly matters. Let's bring it all home in Section 4, the new cognitive luxury. We're pivoting now to exactly how you can put this paradigm shift to work in your daily routine, starting today. It all builds into these 3 rapid decision filters that you must apply before committing a single drop of cognitive fuel. 1. Do you actually need to decide this right now? If time can naturally bring new data or sort of dilute the problem, strategically delay it. 2. Is the choice reversible? This one is huge. If you can undo a choice easily, what we call a bidirectional choice, do not spend 20 minutes agonizing over it. Move fast. Take a fraction of the time. And 3, can it be structured via Think25? If it's a repetitive process or means filtering a mountain of options, automate the analysis. Let the system do it. I really want you to internalize this point because modern high performance does not mean deciding more, and it doesn't mean deciding faster. It means deciding less, but with much higher quality, aggressively protecting your cognitive energy. True competitive advantage is making sure you have mental energy fully available exactly when the decisive moment demands it. It's focusing your intelligence strictly on what actually advances your goals. To pull this off, we need a fundamental shift in perspective. The old question was always, what else can AI generate? But that just led to burying ourselves under infinite options to review and evaluate. The new question, the one you should literally be asking yourself every single day, is simply this: what decision do I really need to make? It's a strict, unforgiving focus on necessary actions and ruthlessly cutting out absolutely everything else. A strategic cognitive life is knowing exactly which possibilities actually deserve your action. We've been completely conditioned by the modern world to want limitless options, right? We think having 100 choices is the ultimate goal. But biologically, our brains absolutely hate that. They crave total clarity. We need to be intensely surgical about where we spend our mental fuel, knowing exactly what deserves our action and confidently ignoring the rest. The new luxury is having fewer things to decide, but deciding with greater efficiency. So I'll leave you with this thought as you look at your schedule tomorrow and stare down that endless stream of messages, emails, and decisions waiting for you. Are you going to burn your precious cognitive fuel on the trivial, or are you going to protect it for the extraordinary?